Hi friends, welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany. Today's video is a Netgalley update. We're going to take a look at how I'm doing on Netgalley, how many outstanding ARCs or advanced reader copies of books for review that I have, what those titles are for the upcoming months because I have titles through close to the end of 2025. So what are some of the books on my radar that I'm planning to be reviewing, and how is my trying to rein in my number of books on Netgalley going? Spoiler, not well. I'm sure you're all surprised. I've had a few requests over the last few months for this video, so we're gonna do an update. I've done these before, not super consistently, but I do think these updates are an interesting way to see what is on my list of things that I'm looking forward to in the coming year, and hopefully you'll find some titles that you're interested in. But first, let's look at my numbers. Y'all, this is the constant struggle for me. I read many genres, I love books, I find many books interesting sounding, and I really struggle to not request books that I want to read. Like, the one thing I've instituted is I almost never request books over 400 pages, although I do have a couple in here that are, but mostly I don't request books over 400 pages unless they're audiobooks, but still, it's a lot. So, how are we doing? One good thing is I am up to date on my Netgalley releases, so I am pretty good about that. I'm pretty good about usually getting to books by release date or pretty close to release date, so I'm not behind on anything. I currently have 41 outstanding books that I have not yet reviewed, and my feedback ratio is 93%. They say that they want you to be at 80% or higher. Because I have reviewed so many books on Netgalley, I'm at 93%, and it takes a lot of books to change that percentage at this point. So let's take a look at all of the books that I have upcoming on Netgalley, and I will go by publication month. Starting with April, because I told you I am done with all of my March books. I feel pretty good about that. And in April, I only have 2 books left to read, one of which I am currently reading. That book is The Last Session by Julia Bartz. She wrote The Writing Retreat a couple years ago, and it was this bonkers thriller, and so when I saw this up on Netgalley, I knew I wanted to pick it up. This one follows a psychiatrist with some kind of a past. I don't know much about it yet, but I do know based on the description that she goes and infiltrates some kind of weird wellness retreat in the desert. So I am definitely looking forward to seeing where it goes. So far, I'm intrigued. So far, so good. The other April release is Anywhere You Go by Bridget Morrissey. This looks really cute. That is sort of like The Holiday with house switching, except not around Christmas time, and it's got a sapphic romance in it. I'm here for it. Sounds like fun. So only 2 books left in April. We're doing pretty good with that. I'm getting to things in a timely manner. Then in May, I currently have 7 books on Netgalley to review. First up is When Devils Sing by Zan Carr. This is a Southern Gothic horror novel that sounded interesting. The cover is gorgeous. In this book, 4 unlikely allies in a small town investigate a local teen's disappearance, and what they discover festering at the core of their community is far more sinister and ancient than they could have ever imagined, for fans of She is a Haunting, True Detective, Mexican Gothic, and Midsommar. Love it. Sounds incredible. Then I have Rules for Ruin by Mimi Matthews. This looks pretty fun. It's set in a fantasy version of like Victorian England, I think, and there is a school that secretly trains women to undermine the patriarchy, and this woman is given this assignment, but there's a guy who runs something in the underworld who is trying to stop her assignment from going through, and it's a romance. So it looks like it could be really fun. Excited to give that one a try. Next is another one that I'm currently in the middle of and really enjoying, Brighter Than Scale, Swifter Than Flame by Neon Yang. This is a novella that's sort of like, what if the Mandalorian was a queer woman dragon slayer in East Asia? It's really good so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's great. Next is The Art of Exile by Andrea Max. This one is like a light academia, I want to say. It sounded kind of fun. Legendborn meets the Da Vinci Code in this light academia contemporary fantasy, following a teen who infiltrates a secret school for the descendants of exiled Renaissance masters to steal their long-lost arts and sciences. It sounds like it could be fun. I am kind of a sucker for a secret school situation, So we're gonna try that out. Also coming out in May is Harmattan Season by Tochi Onyebuchi. This one I also have a physical copy of, and I love Tochi Onyebuchi's work. I feel like these first books, if you saw my spring TBR, you already heard me talk about some of them, but we will get beyond just the spring books. So this one is a standalone novel that's hard-boiled fantasy. Raymond Chandler meets Pete Djeli Clark in a post-colonial West Africa. Say less. I am there for it. The other two for May I also have physical copies of. The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. This one is a tome, so I will not be reading it digitally. I have going to be reading my physical copy of it, but it is Joe Abercrombie's first book that's not part of the First Law universe for adults, and I'm really interested to see how it goes. It sounds fun. Holy work sometimes requires unholy deeds. Brother Diaz has been summoned to the sacred city, where he is certain commendation and grand holy assignment await him. But his new flock is made up of unrepentant murderers, practitioners of ghastly magic, and outright monsters, and the mission he is tasked with will require bloody measures from them all in order to achieve its righteous ends. Elves lurk at our borders and hunger for our flesh, while greedy princes care for nothing but their own ambition and comfort. With a hellish journey before him, it's a good thing Brother Diaz has the devils on his side. I'm intrigued. We'll see how that goes. The last one is Up in Smoke by Nick Brooks. This is a YA mystery, and I really enjoyed his debut novel, so I'm curious to see how this one goes. Perfect for fans of Karen M. McManus and The Hate U Give, this edge-of-your-seat thriller follows a girl determined to clear her brother's name and a boy desperate to keep his own out of the line of fire. As the heat turns up on a murder investigation, old feelings reignite between them, but a shocking secret could tear them apart. Sounds good. In June, I have 10 books, which is a lot, but not the most that I have. Why do the summer months have so many good books coming out, y'all? First up is another one I have a physical copy of. This is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by B.E. Schwab. Very excited for this one. This is kind of her gothic, sapphic vampire story with 3 different timelines and characters. I am ready for it. Ready to Score by Jody Slaughter is a sapphic sports romance that looks pretty cute, and again, I've read from her before and enjoyed her work. The Potency of Ungovernable Impulses by Malka Older is the latest novella in the Mossy and Plady series, which I love. This is a kind of Watson and Holmes type sapphic mystery novella series set on a colony in Jupiter. So it's like a sci-fi mystery with a sapphic couple at the center of it that have this kind of Watson and Holmes dynamic. I love these books. The Tournament by Rebecca Barrow. This is a YA thriller set at a boarding school of some sort where girls have to prove their survival skills. Should be interesting. Nobody in Particular by Sophie Gonzalez. Also a girls' boarding school. This is a YA sapphic romance with a forbidden love between a princess and a girl that also attends her elite boarding school. Sounds like a good time. 10 Incarnations of Rebellion by Vaishnavi Patel. She writes really interesting fantasy. This one is kind of an alternate history. It imagines what if India wasn't freed from British colonial rule and now there's a young woman inciting a rebellion and uprising. I'm curious about it. I've again really enjoyed her work in the past. Finding Prince Charming by Jamar J. Perry. This is a gay YA romance with royalty. The cover looks adorable. I've enjoyed some of his middle grade work, so I'm looking forward to this. Always Be My BB by Priyanka Taslim. This looks super cute. It's another YA kind of contemporary rom-com. Clueless meets Jenna Evans Welch in this young adult rom-com about a spoiled American teenager who faces some major culture shock and potential romance when she jets off to Bangladesh for her sister's wedding. It sounds fun. I'm excited. Like, all of these are different but sound great. If We Survive This by Raquel Marie. She's another author I've read from before. I've enjoyed her work. This is her first YA horror novel that sounds like fun, and I think it's got zombies in it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, The Walking Dead meets Yellow Jackets in a tense and emotional YA horror novel about a teen girl leading a group of survivors on a perilous journey during the apocalypse. And the last book in June is Plus Size Player by Danielle Allen. This is a contemporary romance. I really loved the last book that Bramble put out by her, and I love the way that she did plus size representations. I'm curious to read this one. Julie Murphy's If the Shoe Fits meets Talia Hibbert's Take a Hint, Danny Brown in a steamy, witty novel about finding the perfect partner and how sometimes what you're looking for is right in front of you. Then in July, I've got 12. This is the most I have for a month. There's so many books in July. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I want to try to read these down ahead of time because this is a lot, but also there's just a lot that looks really good. And they just kind of like stack up. It's a problem. First up is Tenderly I Am Devoured by Lyndall Clipstone. I read something from her that I loved. It was this really like melodramatic YA fantasy horror romance, and I feel like this is going to be similar. Perfect for fans of Saltburn, For the Wolf, and House of Hollow, this is a moody, monstrously gothic romantasy in which a young woman must bind herself to a dangerous chthonic demon with the help of the son of a rival family to save her family's legacy and herself from ruin. Yeah, it's definitely giving me those vibes. I'm excited. Then I have The Great Misfortune of Stella Sedgwick by S. Isabel. This is a YA historical romance following a young Black woman in 1860s England who yearns for a writing career and independence rather than love and marriage, but an unexpected inheritance forces her into London society and reunites her with the boy who broke her heart. Really excited about this. Honestly, I wish that adult romance imprints would get it the hell together and publish stuff like this. Like, Bridgerton is a huge hit. What more do you need? Why are we sleeping on historical romance? Adriana Herrera's historical romance series was right there and Barnes & Noble didn't even pick up the third book. Like, are you kidding me? They're amazing. Anyway, I need to change the battery and then we'll be back with more books. Next is A Mastery of Monsters by Lizelle Sambury. I am online friends with her, so heads up about that, but I really love her writing and I'm excited for this one. This is the start of a new series being pitched as Ninth House meets Legendborn in this thrilling first book in a dark academia fantasy series about a teen who's willing to do anything to find her brother, even infiltrate a secret society full of monsters. I can't wait. This is hitting so many of my buzzwords. Again, Lizelle's writing is excellent, so I feel like this is going to be great. Also coming out in July is The Bewitching by Silvia Moreno Garcia. If you've been around a minute, you know she is one of my favorite authors. She is an auto-buy, so of course I was going to read this. And it is a return to horror, and I think it has a fantasy element to it. 3 women in 3 different eras encounter danger and witchcraft in this eerie, multi-generational horror saga. You know it's going to be good. Her books are always amazing. It's going to be great. Then we have The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. This is a companion novel to The Spell Shop, which was one of my favorite books of last year. It is cozy fantasy, and this is set in the same world on a different island. I'm so excited. And look at the cover, it's so gorgeous. Then we have Call Your Boyfriend by Olivia A. Cole and Ashley Woodfolk. This is She Gets the Girl Meets Bottoms in a fun and flirty YA sapphic rom-com about 2 teens who want revenge on the flaky popular girl they're both crushing on. This sounds great. Very excited. It sounds fun. Then we have Volatile Memory by Seth Haddon. I think this one is a novella, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this looks really interesting. Ex Machina meets This Is How You Lose the Time War in this sci-fi debut, a heart-filled, vengeful, sapphic sci-fi action-adventure novella. Again, we're hitting a lot of buzzwords. It sounds really good. Next up is Myra by Nikki Gonzalez. This is a horror novel that looked really intriguing. Also, I love this cover. It made me immediately curious what it was going to be. An eerie, hypnotic debut about friendship, desire, and memory set against the sultry backdrop of Florida's swamplands. It's been years since Ingrid has heard from her childhood best friend Myra, a fearless rebel who fled their hometown of, I'm gonna maybe get this wrong, Hialeah, a Cuban neighborhood just west of Miami, for college in the Northeast. But when Myra calls out of the blue to invite Ingrid to a weekend getaway at a house in the Everglades, she impulsively accepts. From the moment Ingrid sets out for the house, danger looms. The directions are difficult, she's out of reach of cell service, and as she drives deeper into the Everglades, the wet maw of the swamp threatens to swallow her whole. A surreal, unforgettable story about the dizzying power of early friendship and the lengths we'll go to earn love and acceptance, even at the risk of losing ourselves entirely. This sounds very interesting. I'm excited for it. And it's a debut. Then we have The Memory of the Ogisi by Moses Ose Utomi. This is the final novella in a series that I've really been loving. It's African-inspired fantasy, almost this fable quality to the storytelling, especially in the first book. Very intrigued to see where it goes. Love is a War Song by Danica Nava. This is her next contemporary romance. She is an Indigenous author. A Muskogee pop star and a cowboy who couldn't be more different come together to strike a deal in this new romantic comedy. So we've got cowboy meets pop star. I think it'll be fun. Tusk Love by Thea Guanzon. Okay, this sounded so fun. It's a critical role book, which is something I wouldn't normally pick up, but like, this sounds great. It's a romance. A merchant's daughter who yearns for adventure gets more than she bargained for when she falls for a broodingly handsome stranger in this saucy romantasy from the best-selling author of the Hurricane Wars. As the daughter of an ambitious merchant, Guinevere's path has been predetermined. Marry into a noble house, raise her family's station, live quietly as a lordling's obedient wife. But Guinevere longs for a life unbounded by expectations, for freedom, passion, and adventure. So it's got a romance with a half orc. This sounds delightful, and it's fairly short if I'm not mistaken. It's like under 300 pages. Lastly, for July, I know it's a lot, we've got Evil-ish by Kennedy Terrell. This looked really fun, and it's a graphic novel, so it's a quick read. A disillusioned teen dreams of fame and villainy in this hilarious and heartfelt YA fantasy graphic novel. The cover is giving me everything. I feel like this is gonna be great. That's July. We can take a breath. That is the most I have. Why do I have so many books in July? I don't know. In August, I've got 6 books on my TBR. It's a lot less. We're doing better. First is Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher. This is a dark reimagining of Snow White, steeped in poison, intrigue, and treason of the most magical kind. I love her books, and you're gonna give me a Snow White retelling. It's timely, and I feel like it's gonna be great. I think she will probably do it justice. Then I've got The Executioners 3 by Susan Dennard. Y'all know I love Susan, so of course I was gonna request this. This is a YA mystery filled with rivalry, romance, best friends, and a gruesome curse that dates back centuries. Her writing's always great, so I think it's gonna be a fun time. Well, Actually by Maisie Eddings. I loved her last romance, and so I was like, yeah, let me read something else from you as well, because this sounds fun. Eva Kitt never expected to be the host of Sausage Talk, interviewing B-list celebrities over lukewarm hot dogs instead of pursuing the journalism career she dreamed of. But when Eva's impromptu public call-out of her college ex goes viral, she's thrust into the spotlight. It doesn't help that said ex is Riley Cooper, a beloved social media personality that has built a platform on deconstructing toxic masculinity and teaching men how to be good partners. Forced to confront Riley on a live episode of Sausage Talk, he offers Eva a deal. Allow him to take her on a series of dates to make up for his toxic behavior, then debrief them on his channel to show he's changed. This is such a great setup. I feel like it's going to be really entertaining, so I'm excited for that. Zom Rom-Com by Olivia Dade. I am excited that she's doing like a zombie book because this looks amazing and hilarious. I love Olivia Dade. I think she writes great books. I love her plus-size characters, and this sounds fun. Teaming up with your neighbor during a zombie outbreak is a no-brainer, but if it turns out he's a vampire, dun dun dun, the stakes couldn't be higher in this infectious new paranormal romance. I love it. I am very excited for that. I think it's gonna be fun. Next, we have A Tale of Mirth and Magic by Kristen Vale. This also sounded like a blast. A maker of magical jewelry finds her life turned upside down when she ends up on the run with a half-giant in this spicy and cozy fantasy romance, perfect for fans of Legends and Lattes and The Spell Shop. And we have a plus-size heroine in this one too. Yes, please. Yes, those all sound like exactly what I would like in my life. Thank you. The final book I've got for August is Automatic Noodle by Annalee Newitz. From sci-fi visionary and acclaimed author Annalee Newitz comes a cozy, near-future novella about a crew of abandoned food service bots opening their very own restaurant in San Francisco. Like, this sounds delightful. I'm excited for this one too. It sounds so good. Okay, next we have 3 books in September and 1 book in October. And that is it for right now, as if that wasn't enough. First up in September, we've got A Land So Wide by Erin A. Craig. This is her adult debut, and I love her writing, so of course I wanted to read it. An irresistible blend of dark fairy tale and romantic fantasy set in the beautiful but brutal Canadian wilderness. Like everyone else in the settlement of Mistaken, Greer Mackenzie is trapped. Founded by an ambitious Scottish lumber merchant, the tiny town on the edge of the American continent is blessed with rich natural resources that have made its people prosperous, but at a cost. The same woods that have lined the townsfolk's pockets harbor dangerous beasts, wolves, bears, and the bright-eyeds, monsters beyond description who have rained utter destruction down on nearby settlements. Deeply atmospheric and profoundly romantic exploration of freedom versus security, a stunning celebration of one woman's relentless bravery on a quest to reclaim her lost love and claim her own future. This sounds so good, and her writing is incredible, so I'm really excited for this one. Then I have The Maiden and Her Monster by Maddie Martinez. This is coming out from Tor and also sounds fantastic. I think this one might be a debut as well. Yes, it is a debut. A gorgeous, atmospheric debut fantasy that reimagines the Jewish myth of Gollum in a tale rooted in history, folklore, and sapphic romance. Perfect for fans of Catherine Arden, Ava Reed, Hannah Witten, and Naomi Novik. The forest eats the girls who wander out after dark. As the healer's daughter, Malka has seen how the curse of the woods has plagued her village. But when the Osmini church comes to collect their tithes, they don't listen to the warnings about a monster lurking in the trees. This is gonna be great. I'm really excited for it. Then we have Joy to the Girls by Rachael Lippincontt and Alyson Derrick. They are the duo who wrote this really fun sapphic YA holiday romance that I read last year, and I think this one is a novella, if I'm not mistaken. I really liked their book. Also, they are married to each other, which is fun. Okay, so this is a novella set 3 years after the events of She Gets the Girl, which I have not read. Maybe I should read it leading up to this. I will have to consider that. But this follows the couple, the girls that got together in She Gets the Girl 3 years later, who decide, oh, this is fun, who decide for their final winter break of college to have a romantic holiday getaway in a town right out of a Christmas card, which is Barnwich, the town from the book that I did read from them, and they help their friend, who is one of those side characters, to get her crush to fall for her. So I think that'll be really fun. I'm excited. Lastly, in October, I've got one book on my TBR. This is King of the Neuroverse by Idris Goodwin. This, I think, is like a YA novel in verse that sounded interesting. A powerful, joyful novel in verse about a Black teen with ADHD who finds self-expression and first love during one epic summer school season. Perfect for fans of Jason Reynolds and On the Come Up. So that sounds really good. I do have a few, like maybe around 3 or so books requested on Netgalley that may also come through at some point. So this number could, I mean, this number will, I'm sure will go up. But I am only requesting things like September and later at this point, unless they're audiobooks, because it's a lot. So there you go. That is my Netgalley update as of end of March 2025. I am doing okay. Like, I am getting to things in a timely manner so far, but yeah, it's a little excessive. So hopefully this was interesting. Hopefully you found some new books that might be on your radar, maybe a little bit of something someone might be interested in. If you have some of the same buzzwords that make you want to read a book, maybe this will help you out. So talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. If you got this far in the video, leave me a skull emoji, because hopefully all of these books that I have to read won't kill me in the process, because that would be a bummer. But leave me a skull emoji down below. And for question of the day, let me know, which of these books would you most be interested in reading? Are there any here that were already on your radar, or things you hadn't heard about that you're like, ooh, let me look into that? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, it always helps if you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.